And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of the Weekly Roundup here on A2D Radio. I'm your host, Steve. Big G's next to me. Big Greg, how we doing, brother? How we feeling?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
All right. We're going to first kick it off with the opener, as always, and we are brought to you by our doc, your doc, making yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Find them on the web at specializedtherapy.com. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some Flyers, talk some Sixers. We got a couple fighter interviews lined up for you. Jamal Johnson, CFFC fighter. We got the Norwegian Nightmare, Big Shawn T, the CFFC champ, hitting it with us today. So it should be fun. Jam-packed, got a lot of stuff to talk about. Kicking it off with our poll question today, and that is also brought to you by Ambuck Services. That's AMBUCK Services. Call Michael Ambrose. Tell him A2D sent you. 20% off those gutters. Anything around your house, he's got you covered. That's AMBUCKServices.com. And the poll question is, who's going to be the more successful team, the Flyers or the Sixers come the playoff time? What do you got, Big Papa? What do you got?
Well, I agree to the poll. The Flyers will be the more successful team. I think the injury to Ben Simmons is huge. But outside of that, just Flyers alone, I think they're playing. Incredibly cohesive right now. They're incredibly deep, and they're getting production from the spots where you need to get production in order to take a deep run. Right, the fourth line, the D line, or the D men. They're getting production from those. Sanheim's goal the other night off of that pass from Hayes was just straight filth. My guy Scotty Lawson is just straight up tearing it up there. That second line is unreal right now.
Absolutely.
And then we haven't even touched on Carter Hart, right? And even Moose played well the other night. Brian Elliott, even he played well the other night. So we got the goaltending finally, and we're getting production from the places that you need to get production to make a deep run. So I agree with the poll. The Flyers are a better chance going forward.
Yeah, and I'm in total agreement. That I'm with that. Love the Sixers. A lot of people were, including myself, very high on them. Regardless, we thought they would all put it together this year. Hasn't quite happened. We're getting real close to having to sit there and say the process is a bust and a failure at this point in time, because the ultimate goal is a championship, and it's not looking like this team, this coach, this front office is going to be able to put something together with what they have on the court. And the Flyers are handed foot a better team. Both what you have in your starters, your bench, what you have in your farm system, and both the production on the ice. And dare me to say it, that this team gives me a lot of that 2017 Philadelphia Eagles feel. They give me a lot of that feel where team things that were before you think they were losing these situations, they come up big, especially that Capitals game. And I think one of those unknown things is the fact that they held Ovechkin to no points this season. Absolutely,
absolutely,
it's a big thing. That team was also they passed a test with that Capitals game. It was they're one of those big teams that likes to push you around and test you early, and the Flyers answered that call in a big way.
Absolutely.
That's one of those tests, and they have another big test tonight. When we're going to get to that in a few minutes with that Tampa Bay Lightning team, because that Tampa Bay Lightning team has given us fits over the years, and especially the season we haven't beaten them the season. We were getting ready to go down there to see what we could do before this whole thing got stopped. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and I think the Flyers play a style under Alain Vigneault that allows them to still be physical, but also be able to put the puck in the back of the net, and that's what hurts these physical teams the most, right? How do you get back at the Capitals, right? You score goals. You get them behind to where now they got to press, as opposed to playing free-flowing and let Ovechkin do whatever he wants to do, and that's why he's so good. When they get down and they got to press, and that's where they get, it's where any team, gets down and starts getting tight and stuff like that. So, yeah, the Flyers have been able to get out the hot starts, have been able to play the physical game. The other night, Nick Abelkube he was hitting everybody on the ice.
Yeah.
He was just destroying, and that line was so good just from a floor checking standpoint, and they were just able to control the game down in the Capitals' end and didn't allow a whole lot of odd man breaks down the other side.
Yeah, I mean, and they got a lot of stuff coming up, and I think the key moving forward with this team is going to be the play of both Sean Couturier and Kevin Hayes. They're going to be the spark plugs on this team, both from the front end and the back end. To kind of make the difference moving forward. Their play is going to determine how far we can go. I mean, Carter Hart's good. I think, regardless of, rookie experience or whatever, I think he's so stone cold about that. That's not even going to play any part into it. I think he's going to be kind of numb to the moment. And, I think this team is poised for a run. They just have to be able to put it together, put the pucks in the net, and not beat themselves. If they don't beat themselves, their destiny is in their hands.
No, absolutely. And to Prism's comment, what up, Prism? Rap, pull that back up, please. He says, I want to see the Blackhawks Flyers rematch. I do too. He said Chicago is back to the Chicago of old. Kirby Dodge is playing great, helping out. John Taves, Captain Series, Showtime.
They look like a team re-energized by the break, and I don't care what you say. Golden Knights, I don't care. No one wants to play that team right now.
Well, the problem is, and this is why this tournament is kind of so interesting and bizarre, right? We see it with, we saw it with Montreal. We saw it obviously with Chicago. More so Chicago, because Montreal doesn't necessarily have what Chicago has. But look at Chicago. You got Toews, Kane, Duncan Keith. You got all these guys that have just won a buttload of cups. And then you said, okay, let's go play a playoff series against all these veterans versus a bunch of kids that might have more talent. McDavid is definitely the best player in the NHL right now, but they don't have experience. So you put these gritty veterans that have been through the ringers of a playoff, and I don't know anybody that really expected Edmonton to beat the Blackhawks. I know I didn't. I had the Blackhawks winning that just because of that veterans. You give those guys another chance, and to your point, Steve, like you said, they felt energized after the break. Absolutely, and they played like it. They came out in game one and just took it to them. Kirby Dodge, as Prism said, is playing unbelievable. It's a guy I didn't really watch much of the year because I didn't watch much Blackhawks, but now that every game is on TV, you're seeing him more and more, and you're right. He's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, I mean, and they got so much veteran leadership on that team. They still have Toews, and he may be aging or whatever, and he may not be the player he was 10 years ago, but he still is able to put pucks in the net, make guys around him better, and you're going to still see them make plays. And like I said, if I'm a team in the Western Conference, I'm like. I don't know how 7 games play out with them right now because they have a lot of things going for them right now. And, as we're getting into it on that back end, the Flyers have a big test in
what up,
the
Kev?
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Absolutely. We catch a break with no Stamkos, but on our end, we don't have Voracek today.
And that hurts on another one. That's one of those things that hurts on both ends, penalty kill, all that. Everything that he brings to the table. That's
getting back to what you said earlier about it being on Coots and Hayes. That's such a great point. But what it is that's the best thing because those are two of our best players right now, right? So being on the shoulder of those guys is exactly what we want because those guys are being so productive right now. As it's been all year. But Kevin Hayes with the puck on the stick is just a magician. He's very hard to take off of it, and then he sees stuff before it happens.
And he's
that pass to Sanheim.
And that's the beautiful thing.
Sanheim the other day.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean,
and
he had the
puck
puck on his.
Kevin Hayes is he's getting that dirty work done too. He's being able to get the puck out of those tough spots and get it up there, so we can make a rush up the ice. It's one of those things. Like I said, way they're playing on all ends. The way they're getting play from their bench, from guys you don't expect to, like even everyone's like, oh my God, Carter Hart's not starting the other night. Everyone was freaking out, and then here we go again, another big performance. I think we're going to see it a lot, and everyone's like, oh, you guys got rookies, okay, and look how they're playing right now. Look how this team is playing. They have that upward trend. The test really is going to be tonight how you play against this Tampa Bay Lightning team. with regardless of Stamco list, regardless of we missing one of our big mooses on the ice too. Here we go. This is our time to show like, hey, we're the number one seed. Is like I said, this is why this reminds me of that 17 team. Everyone's doubting this team. Everyone keeps giving us reasons why we shouldn't be here. They're going to keep showing us reasons why they are going to be here. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, and to me, it goes back to the 2010 Flyers team that went to the Cup. You know what I mean? Just same thing. But to your same point, you can't count them out, right? And you're going to get production from somebody, right? Yeah. Somebody's going to step up, whether it's the top line with G, and today it's Farabee with who's the other guy on the outside? Oh, my God, I'm blanking. But anyway, right? And there's the first line, the fourth line, first pairing, the third pairing, right? You're getting production from this team at the times that you need it. Mm-hmm. And that's the key.
Yes. And it's they're playing big-time hockey right when it means the most, regardless of everything. And, and I like Prism's comment there right there. Carey Price is playing like Godzilla between the pipes. Montreal is hey man, they're running high on under dog energy, and that's why I like this game because we wind up winning, we wind up getting matched up with them. We have no excuses. We're playing one of the best goalies in the game, regardless of will people feel about his play if he may be declining or whatever. Carey Price is one of them dudes, and yeah, they are playing great hockey right now. So it's one of those things. Why this tournament was very interesting. A team like that gets to hop in there and knock out the Penguins, which would have been a great series for us to kind of start off on. But either way, here we go. And by the way, thank you, Montreal. We don't have to hear the crybaby fans. We don't have to hear the crybaby fans of the freaking of Pittsburgh right now. So that's a beautiful thing. The Flyers were eating breakfast this morning. They were checking out and leaving the bubble. It was a beautiful thing.
But that's the crazy thing about this, right? We were not necessarily worried, but right, we were obviously hoping not to play the Penguins because obviously we play them tough, right? But we're the 2 seed at least at the very latest, so we wouldn't have played them anyway. So that's the beautiful thing about as you said, this tournament is now they're the Montreal's in there, and to Prism's comment again, different scenario than the Blackhawks have all their veterans up front. Montreal's got all their veterans in the back end. Mm-hmm. And when he's standing on his head, there's no one better in the NHL than Carey Price. And right now he's standing on his head. The lines for tonight, it's G, Coots, and Farabee. I don't know why I blanked on Coots. I just completely blanked. So Farabee jumps up to take Voracek's spot on the top line. That's very interesting. Lawton, Hayes, TK, JVR's back in the lineup with Grant and Nick Abokube. And then Bunneman, Thompson, and Pitlick on that fourth line. And Ghost is back in, it seems like, for Haig.
And I heard another thing people tend to forget. JVR plays like a wild man in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that's where JVR normally cashes in on everything. He is something special in the playoffs. Hopefully he still has left some magic left in that stick in them legs and gives him some more here the next month or two.
And if you think about that pairing when he's with Grant and Nick Abokube, those guys are going to grind and get him opportunities to score, right? So those guys are going to have the puck, they're going to hit the body, they're going to grind, and hopefully JVR's there to cash in on the hard work that those guys are doing. Because you're right, that's where he's at his best.
Now let's just say we lose tonight and we don't get the number one seed. Where do you see this team going regardless of if we're 1 or 2 seed?
See, I don't like. I think the Flyers are in an absolute perfect position for today. There is zero pressure on them. They've already improved two seedings from where they should have been. You know what I mean? So for them, these games were all worth it, right? They made all the difference in the world with them being able to jump from the 4 seed up to the 2 seed at minimum, right? So, but what's nice is the 2 seed, you won't see Tampa Bay till the end, right? You potentially, depending, it'd probably be the Capitals there as the 3 seed, it looks like. So, you potentially could see the Capitals again. And Gritty, I'm absolutely there. I'm with you. But you set yourself up to, we said earlier, you said it too. Tampa Bay has given us fits all year. Tampa Bay can score from anywhere, from anywhere on the ice, from any line as well. So to not be able to see them till the end is obviously what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think if you're the NHL, that's what you want too. You want this pairing at the end in the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely won't hurt. You know what I mean? You get the young up and coming team, under a new head coach, and then versus the Showtime Tampa Bay Lightning, right? And the beautiful thing though is Tampa Bay has not played well in the playoffs. Traditionally, they have not played well. They have not done well. So obviously that bodes well for a Flyers team if they were to get there in the Eastern Conference Finals to play well, because they'd obviously have to be playing well to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, they're playing, like you said, they're kind of playing with house money right now.
What up, Ryan?
Where they've jumped up, and like I said. And I think it's the playoff atmosphere, so hopefully, we'll see. I like them taking.
Yeah, Connor, definitely agree.
Yeah, I definitely think they can take it tonight. I think this is kind of that final test, and when we see how it plays out, I still say when we look at it at the end, I still think you're going to wind up seeing the Flyers in the conference finals, whoever that will be against, regardless. We wind up getting paired up with either the Capitals or the Lightning, either the division or the conference finals. It really doesn't matter to me at this point in time. I think that both the way your goalie playing, the way you're getting contributions all over the place, when you look at it at the end, it's probably going to be the Flyers and like I said, either the Lightning and or Caps. That's probably the way that's going to play out.
Yeah, well, if it's the Caps, that means the Flyers aren't there. It looks like the Caps are going to be the 3 seed, so that means they'd have to go through us. So let's not hope it's the Caps, right?
Yeah.
But no, they're a veteran team. What I liked from seeing from the Flyers, not only the other night, but right before we went away, they beat Washington in Washington pretty handily, right? And they kind of ruin that mystique of Washington in the playoffs, or at least Washington to the Flyers. Obviously, we haven't gotten to the playoffs yet.
Yeah.
But, Washington kind of had this weird, voodoo over the Flyers the last couple of years, to where even when we played our great game, we just couldn't get over couldn't get over the hump, right? And, they went and dominated them in Washington and then dominated again the other night. And, I think they hopped over their mental bubble of Washington, and hopefully that bodes well going forward.
Yeah, I think it does, and I think the fans should enjoy the ride. I think it's going to be another fun one. But
it's definitely going to be a fun one.
And then now, unfortunately, we have to change gears to the other side of that, which is the Philadelphia 76ers. What we're going to do about this situation with another Ben Simmons injury, and it seems like he's going to miss significant time. I think it absolutely impedes the Sixers' playoff trajectory in every way. I think at this point in time, all the fans need to kind of come back and readjust on what you think is going to be happen. I think at this point in time, we're going to start getting calls about blowing this team up, winning if this team loses in the playoffs. And I think that what's probably going to happen, especially with the Ben Simmons injury. And then you look at it last night. They go out. They're playing Miami, a team they should handily beat, and they come out in the first half of the first quarter, whatever it was. It just looked like a terrible, terrible team. And I think that's kind of indicative of what this team has kind of been all season long. It was just teams you should be hammering to the paint is just having their way with you, and that's not a championship caliber team. That's not what this team should be. Regardless of Ben Simmons on the floor, whatever, Joel Embiid still on that floor last time I checked, and we're still not. I think not going to get what we want out of this team this season. And the Ben Simmons injury is you can't say a direct impediment of it, but it's been a consistent issue over the last handful of seasons, has it not?
No, it has, but I'll go back to the way I always explained it with Joel, and even and even explained it with Carson, right? None of these injuries are related.
Yeah, no.
You know, they're all different, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like he's injury prone to the thing of, oh my God, it's his foot again. Or it's, you know what I mean, it's his back again, right? It's a completely unrelated injury, kind of like Joel's always been and kind of like Carson has been, right? It's the head, it's the knee, it's the back. It's all different, right? So they're not related. And while it does affect the Sixers, I don't know if it's necessarily time. It's definitely not. No, I don't. Not that I don't know. It's not time to blow it up. What you do though is you have to tinker. So where it's you're not trading Ben or Joe,
blowing it up like one of the two big guys have to go.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why would you make that move first instead of changing the coach?
Well, you're going to have to change the coach, but you're at the point now where you have to move one of them to kind of get some guys in here.
Why do you have to? You don't have to do anything.
You still think it's regardless? You think it's just the coach?
Yeah, that's your starting point, right? That's the starting point.
Absolutely.
So
I love Brett Brown. You know,
you're tied into this team.
But it's time. It's time. I can't.
You're tied into this team salary wise, so you can't trade anybody. So no one's going. I mean, you could get rid of Joel, you could get rid of Ben, but you're never going to get value back. So it's not even worried about talking about it, right? So the first move you make is you move the coach. And the scary thing is this injury may have gotten Brett not extended, but at least to start the year.
Oh man,
and that might be the scary
thing. That's a horrifying thought to me.
That's the scary thing because now you sit there and once again you go, oh well, Brett didn't have this, right? Brett didn't have that. That's the scary thing. I do think it impedes them. I don't know if it impedes them that much. You know, maybe they don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals now, but I like to think that a playoff, ready Joel Embiid, as he's been so far in the bubble, is ready to dominate. He didn't have his best game last night and still ended up at 20 points.
I know.
You know what I mean? He's first or second in the bubble so far of points in the paint, right? Everybody wants him to get down in the paint, and he's been absolutely dominant down there. I mean, Draymond Green mentioned it the other night on TNT and said the same thing. Joel, stop being that you make defenses take a deep breath when you shoot three-pointers. Well, nobody can guard him down low, and he's believing in that because he's been dominant down there right now.
All right, then let me say this. Do you think Joel Embiid can overcome Brett Brown's coaching deficiencies and put him on his back and at least take him to the conference finals?
Well, if we go, that's how it's going to be. It's going to be Joel.
It's not going to be Tobias Harris. It's not going to be. It's not going to. It has to be on JoJo's back.
It can't. You can't. To make it run to the Eastern Conference Finals, it can't be one guy. It can't. So it's going to have to be through Joel. Toby has been playing great so far in the bubble, right? So you're going to have. So those two are going to have to lead you, and then with the lack of Simmons, you're going to see a lot more Burks, which I like. I like that five out there, a lot yesterday, to where it was Burks, Jay Rich, Toby, Al, and Joe, right? I like that five. Burks brings a lot to the floor, and his minutes are gonna increase. To Prism, to your Ben Simmons, it's indefinitely right now. He left the bubble. It was just announced he left the bubble to have surgery. While the Sixers aren't closing the window on his return, they would have to make a deep run, and even then, they still might side on the side of caution with Ben just because of what it is. Like a kneecap injury. That's so bizarre, right? But to your point earlier, that's so Ben Simmons.
And it sucks, man, because Ben is absolutely one of those guys with all the tools he has. He's what he says he is, an absolutely generational talent. One of those guys that, he does like basically the big three things you need in a basketball player. He does them all at a high level. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he can rebound. Yep. The only thing he's missing is that outside shot.
But he's taking it.
Yeah,
he took it the other night against the Washington, right? He took one. He didn't make it, but he took one. You know what I mean? So that's enough for me. That's enough. And it was in rhythm. He didn't sit there and think about it and wait for everybody to run away. He got a pass, got set and shot. That's all I need, right? That's it. That's all you want from him is just the willingness to shoot, and he did.
Yeah, man, and he winds up getting hurt, and it's one of these things like, the reason why I say you have to do something is because at this point in time,
what up, Cromer?
Huh? Yeah. And Crum, he's saying the round robin games. I love you, brother, but the round robin games. I mean, if they didn't count, why are we now playing for the 1 seed? They counted a little bit, just a little bit.
He's just trolling me. And what's funny is I'm trolling Brinkman, so it has real no bearings on me. Brinkman was the one that started this. These games don't count. And then, everybody decided to hop on that bandwagon, which we know how that bandwagon goes. But no, these games absolutely count. I know there's no technical home ice, but the advantage of the last change, the short bench, that's everything in playoff hockey.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful. Now, we're still talking about we're kind of giving a preview. Like, what do you see playing off with the basketball? I know Ralphie's gonna say that his Lakers are coming out of the East, but
we are one big trolling family. Absolutely, Crow.
Is that not what we do to each other?
Absolutely.
Hit each other's in the ribs and then give each other a beer, right?
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, let's go, nerdy sports guy. Big W today.
Yeah.
But let's be okay. But let's not think the world's falling if we don't get a win. Because we still won in the round robin, right? We got our legs back. We got everybody in the game. That's what Vigneault was saying the other day. He wanted to get Bunham in the game. We got Farabee a game. We didn't really want to lose Raffle, but we got Farabee a game. We got JVR a game. Now he's going to get a second game. We got all these guys, their work back. And now we can go in. Ghost is back in the lineup tonight too. So now we can go in and see what we have. In regards to the Sixers, it's going to depend on what the seeding looks like, right? Mm-hmm. Right now we're locked. We're tied for the 5th seed. I don't know what that tiebreaker with Indy has because they obviously just beat us. That's where that game jumping off the bubble kills so much more because we had a chance just to jump them right off the bat, and then.
It hurts. They always play us tough, man. And
so
I know this team is capable of dispatching them, but man,
Indy's always been that. Indy was like for me when the Phillies was like the Washington Nationals. I used to call them the Gnats, like the GNATS, right? Like the Bugs, like because they're always there. Even when they were bad, they were always there. They're like the Marlins are now, right? They're just like
before when they used to be the Expos. They did not used to be the thorn in our side for the longest time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely, Crum. I get it. Yep. I mean, yeah, the not playing in front of the sold-out Wells Fargo Center is going to suck, but those other advantages too. Last change, short bench in the first and third period is so huge. Sixers, if we match up with the Heat first round, even without Ben, we could beat them. We absolutely could beat them. I have no,
especially because that's an emotional game.
Right, it's emotional, but I think we're able to, I think we're able to take that. Now, if we drop to the 6 and we start Boston without Ben, that's a little bit more of a tricky scenario because of we played them well with Ben this year. We kind of got over that mental. Same thing with the Flyers and the Capitals. We got over that mental block of the Celtics, but that was with Ben. So what does that change do without him? Who knows? That's what these next. What do we got? 3 games left. The next 3 games are we able to push forward and get ready for life without Ben in the playoffs.
Yeah, we gotta get used to it. But that being said, the man behind the screen is letting me know our first guest of the afternoon is here. We are being joined by Curry Fighting Championship Bantamweight, Mr. Jamal Johnson. What's up, my friend? How we doing this afternoon?
How y'all doing, fellas? Man, I'm chilling.
What up, Jamal?
We're good. We're good. We just got done, talking some hockey, talking some basketball. Now we're changing gears. It's we're talking some combat sports now with Jamal Johnson. How we feeling this afternoon, man?
Oh, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I don't know. The more and more the date gets closer, like I'm just closing in, really. So I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah, man. It's we're within 7 days of putting knuckles to faces again, right?
Yeah, knuckles, elbows, knees, whatever I need to, man. Whatever I need, I got it all. So I'm just out there, I'm a gladiator, man. That's all we are. We're just modern day gladiators. Let's do the show.
Yeah, it's gonna be the kind of new environment. The energy is gonna be different. You're not gonna be able to have family, friends screaming for you, yelling for you. You don't got opponents, fans yelling at you. You're gonna be able to hear your corners.
Yeah, exactly. Well, really, that doesn't feel.
When you listen to the corners of ISIS.
Really, that doesn't feel foreign to me. I mean, even when a lot of fighters will tell you that experience, like going into the ring, man, you really don't hear too many people, right? You either hear your corners or you hear bone on bone, knuckle on knuckle, man. Usually. So I don't feel like it's too much of a difference. We going out with the same results, all right? You know what I'm saying? Just finish him or he finishes me. That's it.
Now, with this whole, COVID lockdown, all this craziness, like, how's training been? Even more so because, on the local scene, like, people don't know like how hard it is for you guys to kind of secure sponsor stuff and stuff like that. How's that end of it been too? Because you guys kind of live or die off of that as professional fighters. On top of most of you having regular jobs and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I already had loyal sponsors before COVID kicked out, but yeah, it's definitely hard given the circumstances. A lot of local businesses closing, as you can tell. As well as when it comes to training, you got to be really careful because you don't know who has which. So it's you got to be real smart nowadays. And right when I go in for testing, I believe tomorrow, Sunday, it's. Who knows? It could be him. It could be me. It could be anybody in there. If I can get canceled real easily. So
yeah.
Speaking of training, how different was it this time around? Maybe either being virtual, solo, doing a lot of different things. How different was that for you?
Yeah, definitely. It was different in the sense that I can't really venture out to as many places as I want to. So I get it's always good for a fighter to get different looks from different places, but you got to be careful even there because you run the risk.
Yeah. What was your biggest change up? Did you do a lot of virtual stuff? Did you do a lot of solo work? What was the biggest change up for you in this camp?
I would say the biggest change up. There weren't too many real big change ups, but I mean things feel pretty much similar except for the fact that when I was. Right, when gyms were closed down for a good while, I was just hitting a good little solo thing every now and then here. And I've been keeping good with my cardio, my conditioning, as well as keeping my weight down. So that ain't no problem. I've always been a hard worker. So
no, absolutely. And then obviously your last fight was in November. How's the body feel after that layoff? Are you ready to go?
Yeah. My last fight was in November. Shout out to Shogun Fights. All right, one of the biggest promotions down here in Baltimore. I felt good after that fight. I mean, I really didn't get too many licks. So yeah, and I would say after that fight, I probably just got fat real quick. Just ate around. So I mean, everybody was doing that. So that's the Kenyan style, man. Shit.
Yep.
Eat as much as you can, chill, drink.
Get those cheat meals in that you missed out on.
Yeah, exactly. I have a tendency to do that a lot. I go crazy, but I'm better now. I go ape shit with the food, man.
Yeah, for people who don't know, he fights at bantamweight, but he's fought up as high as 150, so he does like his food.
All right, you telling me, right? I'm seeing all these commercials with Whoppers and shit now and whatnot. Talking about cheaper vibes.
They trapping you. That's why we in lockdown. They trying to push that food on us, get us nice and fat, right?
Yeah, like this is bullshit.
and then you see the scene at the end, available on Uber Eats and DoorDash. It's like, damn.
Right. So that's the biggest thing every time, man. Is staying away from food, man. That's like one of the only pleasures I got in life. So yeah. But I was fighting, so I love fighting a lot. So I can settle with no food, or at least the stuff that I really want to eat at the moment. So let's get it.
Yeah, and also one of the things I want to ask you too, like we have a some mutual sponsors. The guys who makes our wonderful T-shirt is also one of your sponsors. So how did you get linked up with that Alex in the MMA company?
Oh well, Alex, I know he knows a past opponent of mine, John Brennan. Shout out to John Brennan and MMA company, right? Yeah, me and John fought back in like I think 2016, maybe 2017, and it was a title fight for like 155 pounds, or I think we did a catch weight of some type. But yeah, man, it was like the hottest day that I think it was like 100 and something degrees or something like that. Yeah, and it was at damn, I forget where it was, but it was in a baseball field in like Lancaster, PA. It was crazy.
Oh, I remember that one. Oh, I remember. That was Maverick. Wasn't that Maverick MMA?
No, that was World Cage.
World Cage Fighting, WCC.
World Cage Fighting Championships.
Yeah. And Shut was on that one too.
Yeah. Shut was on that. That's right. Yeah.
It was raining. It
rained afterwards. Right. It was crazy hot, man. That's all I knew. I was putting bullets before I even got to the ring. So it was cool. It was real.
Yeah, you were probably back there in the fight weight by the time you got back there.
Exactly. I'm sitting here like 150. Let's do this, man. I didn't even really need to warm up. About 3 jabs, I was already sweating. I was good. So, all we had to do was walk out there and do the show. Me and Brennan, we did our thing. He beat me up for like at least 2 good rounds when I came out in the third, But we can all run it back maybe another time in the future. Well, I would say if I get big again like that, but hopefully not, because that's my boy John Brennan. I don't want to have to fight him again. Hopefully fight me again.
Well, I don't think he'd probably be fighting you. He'd be like, let's do a pro grappling match. Let's see how that works.
Yeah, exactly. I'm down with that. Well, a lot better with that. That's my boy.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's been a minute since John fought, right? So I would probably assume like he's probably done with MMA for the time being, at least.
Yeah. I know he just had a kid on the way and whatnot. He's starting the company up. I understand business is going, so you gotta stay on the task at hand. So I'm good with that.
Speaking of the task at hand, what how you see this thing going when you step back in there for Mr. Haydock and Cage Fury this coming week?
Yeah, definitely. How I see it going, is guys make predictions all the time. First round, second round, third round.
I'm not sitting there saying like rounds or anything like that. I'm not sitting there saying like this, because you already know me when it comes to that, man. You've been around me long enough. I'm not one of them, but hey, hey, I can see it's going back and forth. Me wearing them down, and I don't know if it's gonna be on the ground or whatever. I just see me get my hand raised, and it's not going to them judges because I'm not freaking hands.
Like pretty much that's all I've been focusing on, man. It's just malicious intent, violence. That's all I need. When I go into that, that's really all I need. I don't need anything else. I don't need no love. I don't need no compassion. I don't need somebody, hey, you okay? Like, nah, man, I'm not okay. I gotta do some shit. Good.
Well, man, especially you got to feel that way, especially seeing all these guys being plucked up from Cage Fury, going to the UFC, going to that. That place is a platform. Even Shawn's opponent, he just got snatched from up underneath him, and he's gonna want to be being taken to the UFC where
there's Alex there.
So
was a beast.
Yeah, man. So it's one of these things where you have this chance to showlight yourself to some of these bigger promotions. So it's good to see you got that energy in you. You're feeling like you got something to unleash on people. Hopefully, you're gonna want to paint that canvas a little red, probably.
All day. Like I just keep thinking about it, man. I want a blood and gore type of fight. I don't want no something sweet, something boring. If I'm gonna go out, right, I want to give my fans something to remember, especially myself. All right, so just stay tuned, right? If you got it, UFC Fight Pass, anybody, get on it. All right, Jamal Johnson is coming with heat, or he's going out. Either way.
And speaking of going, you catch Bellator last night. You see that Michael Chandler actually put out Ben Henderson.
Exactly. That's the type of energy I'm on as well. Exactly.
Because the funny part is, like, you even heard it before. He's like, I know this fight, he ain't getting stopped. I knew that much. He's durable as hell. And then next thing you know, he gets the first round knockout of Ben Henderson. Is like, oh, okay.
Night real quick.
That's the thing about it. That's what I love about fighting. Period. It's just it's an unpredictability to it, man. There's no well, it's this set this way. It's just, man, just come whatever you got, man, and just take it. Right when the opportunity presents itself, either one of us is gonna grab it. Either it'll be him or it'll be me. All right. So it's an inches game. Fighting is very much an inches game. But it's also
so much like we talk about so many sports, and they say a football's a game of inches. I'm like, you don't really know that until you actually watch combat sports, boxing, MMA. Right. Like an inch in boxing, MMA, combat, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever is literally almost anything.
Exactly.
I think today. I think either today or yesterday was the anniversary of Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman, the first fight when Anderson was sitting there clanning him, duping around, and Chris had clipped him right before that, and he was acting like he was hurt, and then he hit him again as he was in the right spot, and that's what I mean by inches. Inches.
Exactly. That's all it takes. That's all it takes, man. So that's why we really got to be sharp. We really got to be on our game. And I can't sleep. I can't.
Make sure you get some rest because you got to be ready to go.
I'm going to try.
Right.
Before the fight for me, man. I'm pacing back and forth, and I'm just, it's really hard. It's going to be hard.
No, yeah, absolutely. As you were coming up and you were getting into the MMA, who's one guy you looked up to? Who's one guy that really made an impact? Whether you know him or not. Who's one guy that you looked up to in the MMA world?
One guy, damn, that's hard because there's so many guys. But I would say like the one guy that I watched coming up, or that really got me, was either somebody like Dennis Cole, man. Looked like they champion in the UFC, man. Small dude. Like, he didn't give a fuck who it was, man. And when he fought in Japan, or whether he fought in, I don't know, Russia or something like that, it was put them dukes up and let's go to work, man. I love the attitude. I love the grit. Yeah, I mean, there's so many dudes. Another classic fighter I love Charles Crazy Horse, man. Charles Crazy Horse, that's one of my favorite dudes as well. So I'm all about just gritty fighters, man. It's just get the work done, man. They don't care who it is or what hype you got behind them.
Nice. Judge Pulver's a good one. You're right. He did just throw down on anybody.
Oh man, Little Eagle is kind of one of these guys that not a whole lot of people who didn't follow early MMA really don't know about. Like like that early 155-pound, like that weight, anything under that was unheard of, and that was kind of like those lower weight classes. And BJ Penn, Jens Pulver, those were the guys who were the names of that weight class, and he's also one of these guys that in his own right, he so many guys have spun off from him and what they were doing. That gym they were involved with, they just so many names. It's just Jens is like that. That's a name drop right there, my friend.
Yeah, man. I'm a classics type of guy, man.
Yeah.
I like all these young guys.
But see, Jamal, people don't understand that was the golden era of MMA. Like it was before it was really broke. Like it was when it wasn't underground anymore, but it was kind of before like it really like there was a whole lot of money involved in it and a whole lot of eyes in it, like it is now. And speaking of the blow up, I got to ask you, what are your thoughts on Tyson versus Jones coming up next month?
Man,
Are you paying attention to that at all?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Roy is a legend, but man, the way Mike Tyson been looking, he looks like a psychopath. He looks like a dude that just did like a 10-year bid, man. He's ready to he's going down. That's somebody you don't want to see like right out the gate. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's hard to tell. That's hard for me. It's real hard for me. I know Mike Tyson looked good, but Roy still look like he got it, man. Roy is one of the most, I don't know, articulate boxers of the game that we ever had. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's one of those things where it's going to be really interesting to see. You know, a lot of people were naysaying this, and who's he going to fight? And then a lot of people are trying to put him up against a lot of these guys that you'd already kind of seen or heard. But Roy Jones Jr. kind of makes sense. It's not something he's really fought, and as long as it's something that made sense. It's something I've always said, and that's something I think that definitely makes sense. It should be fun for I think that them and the fans. It's something that I think really works. Another thing you see that's going on really big is that bare knuckle boxing blowing up.
Man.
Paige Van, I believe, I think Alima Lay McFarland just kind of blew it up that Paige Van Zandt is signing with bare knuckle boxing.
Oh man, I can't see her doing it. I can't.
Really? I mean, like if you really look at it, like jiu-jitsu really isn't her thing. She does like to throw, like her hands are kind of her thing. Even if her defense really ain't that great.
That's like she better learn some good head movement, man.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. She better not get in there with Christina Frieri. She better not get in there with Christina Frieri. She better not get in there with Christina Frieri. She's gonna get hurt.
Oh man, I'm telling you. Bare knuckle boxing is for dudes like me, man. I'm ugly. It's like, all right, not somebody with double D's and an easy Instagram model. I can't be no Instagram model, man. Look at it. I wish.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can, brother. Yeah, you talk, but you don't have to see your face. You can be an underwear model, man.
Right?
You're an athlete. What are you talking about?
You start an OnlyFans, man. Them get up out here. $20 a picture.
Well, is that something you would ever dabble into? The right matchup comes across like, hey, short notice fight. Dave Feldman picks up the phone like, hey, we need somebody to hop down here and take this fight. Would you something you'd be doing?
Bare knuckle boxing looks so exciting. I've definitely thought about it, man. Especially because I know some of the people who are,
That's why I said it, because that whole team is kind of like so entwined with this kind of tri-state area. All the combat sports promotion in that area. It's one of the reasons why I asked, especially because we're kind of in this stage where you don't really know who's going to be putting on shows when the next time you're fighting. You're coming off an extended layoff, and we already know how it is in the combat sports world. Wherever the paycheck's coming from, wherever you can perform, have fun, and be able to do what you enjoy. You guys are interested in that. I mean, it's kind of, I guess, in my sense, it's kind of redundant, but just kind of definitely want to get your thoughts on that.
No.
We already had guys like Isaac Valley Flag. I mean, that was the guy who just fought. Just fought for the title. He's looking to get back in there. This guy's calling him out. Like you see, guys like Jason Knight. That's another one that could be like a kind of fun matchup like that.
Yep, exactly. There's so many guys from the MMA world that are transitioning over into that now, and I've definitely noticed that. And as well as I always have a love for boxing. But bare knuckle boxing is just something different, man. It's just it's crazy, but I don't know. Like I'm gonna give it a couple more thoughts, but exactly just like you said, with the way things are now, like fighters are just trying to there's no point in just not jumping on anything now these days. You know what I mean? So
It's one of the kind of interesting things where, like, I know a lot of guys, like, their kind of goal is the UFC, but it's also one of the reasons why I say, like, I think more fighters should kind of go the Bellator route, just because you have that flexibility to kind of go in between promotions and sports.
Exactly.
Where the UFC kind of locks you down, and this is like kind of the only thing you can really do, unless you're a really big star.
Right. Exactly.
Which is kind of one of the bugaboos about it, but it's also one of the things where you guys it's your choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. UFC is definitely the biggest promotion when it comes to MMA, period. So I understand right, and I would love, right, if I got the call today, maybe tomorrow, right. You kidding me? Way too good. But yeah, when it comes to just being a fighter, and especially where I like to fight and how I like to move, I like to stay busy. I like to be diverse. So
yeah, I mean, even look at it even more so. Look what happened this week with Corey Anderson. He's another local guy to us. Asked for his request to leave the UFC, immediately signs with Bellator. I guarantee you, he's probably he's probably going to be the next either title contender or title fight. Period.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, I really think it's not like a thing where they kind of have that stranglehold on the sport where you're starting to see a lot of other fighters move around, which is ultimately, I still think good for the athletes in itself. But it's definitely interesting. One of the things, Ralphie, pull up Prism's question for him. Prism was asking, is there any song that you use to help get you pumped up before your fight? He's so old that his high school locker room used to play Pastor Troy.
Oh, man. This man brought up Pantura. Are you kidding me? God. Pantura is definitely one I could, you know what? But how I am, like, there's so many, like, I'm a music type of guy. I love music. Yeah. It was like there's so many songs I can play on repeat, and I could just make a mix. It could be a mix of, like, heavy metal, and it could be a mix of hardcore rap. Like any of it that gets me into the mood that I'm about to stomp your face in. Shit, let's get it. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing in the weighing room or the locker room. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
How's the weight? How's the weight leading up to it? You feel good? You ready? The weight you expect to be good?
Oh yeah. The weight has been. Yeah, it's been pretty manageable. It's been. I would say I've done a lot better this camp for my weight than I've done in past camps. So the weight is no problem. Shit, you might even see me at other weight classes maybe. So I'm feeling good.
Nice.
I'm real good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important. Like, people kind of like, I mean, you're at the point where you haven't really started the cut yet and stuff like that. But when you're already kind of like health wise in a really good place where you're not having to have the rip down 25 pounds or more like some of these guys do. Like when you walk around and you're already within 15 pounds of where you're supposed to be, or some guys walk around even less where you're in the teens where it's even easier to manage. So like. And, guys like you, I mean, you kind of bounced around, but you're also one of these guys that just taking opportunities normally when that happens. It's not like kind of your true weight class. So
right.
It's really interesting, but we're getting close to getting ready to bring Shawn on. And you've kind of seen shows where I kind of typically kind of throw the platform over to you. Is there anyone you would like to thank, give some love to? Anything you want to, anything your work that you want to give out, it's your time, brother.
Oh yeah. First, well, shit. Yeah, I'll just start off. College Park MMA out of Beltsville, Maryland. That's my team, as well as TAC Boxing. The head of College Park is Joshua Peters. Head of TAC Boxing, Anthony Hamilton. They've really been working with me, getting me ready for this fight, getting me ready for life. Period. As well as all of Baltimore, man. Just right, all of Baltimore City, man. I'm born and raised from here. It's my love, it's my heart, or it's my soul. All the friends and family that I have, all the friends and family that I've lost along the way. As well as American Muay Thai out of Baltimore, Maryland as well. Jesse Swain, he really helped me a couple of times through this camp. So shout out to him. All right, I hope that he gets more love, as well as just all the talent out of Baltimore getting love, all the talent out of the DMV area For real, man. Check us out. We here. We live. We getting shit ready. We getting shit popping. Look out for all of us. Any DMV fighter you know of or you see, all right, keep an eye out. All right, especially me. All right.
All right, Jamal, it's a pleasure. Best of skill. In this coming cage fury fight, do your thing. Unleash hell on these people. Let them know who you are, man. And definitely have you back on here again in the future. Talk some more.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jamal, on behalf of everyone at A2D too, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And everybody stay safe. Stay healthy. All right. All love to everybody, man. Stay safe.
Thanks, Jamal.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
All right, man. That was Jamal, and I think Shawn should be here. And here he is, our final guest of the evening, the Norwegian Nightmare, Mr. Big Shawn T. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, Shawn, how are you?
Good, man.
So you're going through a whirlwind again, man. Again with Dawkins, you get lined up. It gets canceled, but it's for a positive thing this time. He gets the call to go to the UFC, and I guess that's a unicorn you have to chase at a later date. And you get a new opponent. Less than 2 weeks in, you kind of getting thrown the horseshoe again, brother. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened quite a few times to me, so it is what it is. That's why a lot of times I don't particularly just have one game plan the entire time. Like, if you're versing a striker, you just work your, striking and wrestling and stuff like that. So, I'm pretty well rounded. So I just train everywhere. So just in case stuff like this happens, at the level that we're all at, it's, a fight falls off, any one of us can be going to the UFC or Bellator or whatever at this point. So, it happens, like I've said before, congrats to him. If I make that jump to the UFC, it's a easy first call out for me.
Yeah, man. That's probably definitely one of the fun ones. And it's one of the things that it's kind of one of the fights we wanted to see because you guys were kind of the last two remaining big heavyweights in the area that kind of we really wanted to see kind of test each other. We knew one way or another that the trajectory was kind of facing either you or him were going to go. He got the call first. Hats off to him, but you still got business to take care of. You got a jiu-jitsu black belt to dispatch. This guy's no joke in his own right. Another stern test for you. Like you said, you train it everywhere. So this should be another good matchup. That if you get it happens to go your way, it's another notch to push you in the direction to where you want to go.
Yeah, it's definitely a good guy to have on my record. He has 20 plus fights, Bellator veteran, PFL veteran, stuff like that. So, to look good on my record.
Yeah. That's the way to think of it, brother. And, obviously, it's been rough for everyone for this whole, COVID lockdown and stuff like that. How's everything's been, getting your training in, sponsorship wise, stuff like that? How's that been playing out?
I didn't really lose too much training. Luckily I have, over at Killer B and stuff, working one-on-one with Brian, working with Carl Verbeson over there a lot. Jimmy Lawson, stuff like that. Worked a lot with Tom the Blast this camp. So, I was getting my rounds in and stuff like that. So, hopefully this guy was getting his rounds in and stuff too, because, it's going to be a bad night if he's not in shape.
Yeah,
I like it.
And it's also one of the more important things too, especially with people like kind of underestimate with the heavyweights, and it's one of the things that me and you've talked about on shows that we used to do before is the cardio and some of these big guys, and it's one of the things why I kind of put you on a different level, with some of these guys because you have that where you're kind of able to push guys in them deep waters, especially with the fact the grappling. He is the kind of a grappler, so it's gonna be kind of an interesting to see. Is this one of those ones where you guys cancel each other out and you guys are wind up throwing leather at each other for however long until one of you is wind up looking up at the lights.
Yeah, I mean that's any heavyweight thing. You get two wrestlers, they legit just cancel out as like a kickboxing match. You get two jiu-jitsu guys that are like all right, I may take you down, but I'm not going to sit in your guard and let you play what you want to play. So, we'll see how it goes. It seems like he's, yes, he's a black belt, but it seems like he likes to throw a lot of hands. So, we'll just see where the fight goes. I'm content wherever it goes because I was versing Dawkins, really high level striker, really big bag of tricks he can pull from, striking, kicking, knees, was real good at, cutting angles and moving and stuff like that. So that's what I've been preparing for. So, if he comes in like with a slower tempo than what I was preparing for, that's what I was, I've been training this entire camp for somebody like that. So, I'm cool with it. If it turns into a wrestling match, hey, it's cool. I can stay pretty.
Yeah. Well, then the other side of it is if you're able to kind of work your game and kind of get your signature move, that's another impressive feather to put in your cap on that side of it too.
Yeah, I'm just looking. My last few fights, I had a draw, and my last fight, I took the really safe route, which looking back on it now, I shouldn't have done, because I think I played down to like where my opponent was. I was kind of just like, main event again, fighting for a belt again. The first time I fought for the belt, I lost. So it was kind of like I knew that he couldn't go rounds with me. So I wanted to take him into that deep water and, and hold his head under. So, I kind of didn't do myself any justice for that about, I should have pulled the trigger a lot faster, because going back and watching the fights, like that guy, I should have murdered him in the first goddamn round, but I let him hang around a little bit, and so I'm looking to put a pace, and I've been training this entire camp to keep that pace for 5 rounds. So that's what I'm going out there to do, and if you can't keep your foot on that pedal as long as I can, you're gonna get left behind.
Now, back to Kevin's question. Do you think an early finish could get you a call now?
I mean, anything can get you to call right now. We're like I said before, we're all at that level. I'm not gonna say I need to go in there and finish this guy in the first round to get this call, because then if it hurts you mentally. Like if I go in there with a mental game plan, like I'm gonna go in there and murder this guy in the first round, and all of a sudden that second round rolls around, and that third round rolls around, and you're like, shit,
And then
I'm not gonna get a call now because I didn't do this, So hopefully, but I say just getting a win in general puts me into a different category, because I'll be 7-2-1. That's a really good record, and if I get another finish in this fight, all including that one would be 7 wins, and all 7 would be finishes. So,
I mean, and that's not an easy thing for most heavyweights. I mean, when you look at most heavyweights' resumes, it's normally decision heavy. So, I mean, it's one of the things me and you've talked about it over in the past. You have more eyes on you because it's kind of the glory division that doesn't really have the firepower that it once did. So, the MMA world hungers for guys like you. So it's kind of a unique situation that you're in when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, especially I'm a heavyweight that's like a really heavy grappler, and there's not many of them since like Frank Mir's been around, was around really.
See, so, and that's my dude right there. That's my guy. And you kind of have that style that kind of reminds me of. I just think that you're able to you've been able to kind of pick up the striking game a lot faster than it took Frank. It took Frank damn near 10 years to be able to throw kicks right.
Yeah, well, people don't forget that like I turned pro with like 0 boxing at all. Like I've been learning on the job basically. So I was reading your chat, sorry. So like Brian Wright at Killer B, I've been with him since my contender fight. I'm gonna kind of scrap out the contender fight. It is what it is. I got hurt. I lost. End of the day, I lost. So, but since then, I really took striking as a big thing, because every single person you talk to was like, Teet's just a grappler. You can stop his takedown, he can't beat you. So like, and then I've showed my last 2 fights that I could strike with people. So I was really looking forward to that with Dawkins because I worked so hard on my hands.
One of the things where I was, like I said, I was dying for that matchup because it was one of the things where you kind of get to show people how far you've grown. He's one of these guys that he kind of gets to show where he's at and kind of test himself with one of the other bigger heavyweights in the area. He's lucky gets the call. You get it. I still think like it's one of these things. It's just like we talked about it before. It's one of these inevitable things. It's just a matter of time before the right situation happens, and you wind up getting it, regardless if it's one of these things where it's a short notice fight or whatever. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But now, like it's one of these things where you gotta wait the timeout now, right? You gotta get some more fights in, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I think after this fight, I think this is a very good, whether it was versus Dawkins or versus this guy, they both have good this guy's almost even with records, but he has a shitload of fights. He's fought, who's who. He fought Matt Mitrione, stuff like that. So the guy's been around for a really long time. He's out of a really good team. So, putting him on there, I think puts me into a different category than I'm already in. So, if all goes well Wednesday, we'll see where everything lies. Who knows where crap's going with all this COVID stuff. So I'm just glad to be fighting.
With my prism. Shawn can't keep his eyes off the chat.
Shawn, last fight was November. Obviously, we had everything that's happened. What's the layoff been for you? I know you said you've continued to work out. What's the body feel like? How ready are you for the upcoming fight?
I've been ready. I didn't take really any time off after that stuff. Maybe there was where I wasn't pushing myself to the max, but it allowed me to be like, all right, I have, a unknown amount of time that I can work on things. So there was, I went back to basics with a bunch of different things, and, basics kill people. I went back to, more basics with striking, stuff like that. Cause as a heavyweight, I'm not going out and going to wheel kick you and stuff like that. So I'm going to go out and, 1-2 down the pipe and throw some hooks and body shots and stuff like that. So we went real back to everything that works, your bread and butter stuff. And it was just really good for me to take that back to where during sparring now, I'm more comfortable in situations that I would shy away from and just try to make it a wrestling match or a grappling match and stuff like that. So, elbows, knees, things like that.
Right.
It's coming together really, really well for me.
And what was the biggest change now with obviously the new maybe potential style of training and stuff like that? Have you done a lot of virtual stuff, solo stuff? Are you still doing the one-on-ones with people, or is it more just with the bag and stuff like that?
No, me and Brian Killer B, we've been working on one-on-one almost the entire time. I've been working with Carl and stuff like that, but we've all been COVID tested together. I cornered him out for the UFC in Vegas and stuff like that. Okay. So we've all been tested multiple times through this camp. So training with us group of guys that have been repeatedly tested with each other, it's not like I'm training, with some random guy, down the street. So we've done it smart. So to, not pop for things, and, I'm not a partier or anything, so I haven't been going out to anybody's house. I like to sit home and play video games and, build hunting arrows and stuff like that, and, prepare for this upcoming hunting season. So that's what I've been really doing. So, everybody else that, they don't know what to do. I'm kind of I stick to myself a lot of the times. I'll go out and hang out with friends and stuff, but I'm so involved in hunting and gaming and doing all that different stuff that I kind of just stick to myself. I like, doing that kind of stuff.
No, absolutely.
What have you been doing on? I know you still got your Twitch account and stuff like that. So what have you been doing gaming wise since we've been in all this lockdown?
So that stuff slowed down a little bit for me. Some of my friends started streaming, and I started, trying to play games with them to help their streams and stuff like that. So I myself haven't really been streaming too much, but I been doing a lot of like the hunting side of stuff. I got involved with some different companies like Ethics Archery and stuff like that for, this upcoming season. So I've been, building arrows, helping friends get arrows built, helping friends buy bows, set up things and stuff like that. I just really I dove into hunting this year. I've always been in hunting, but this last year, even in quarantine, it's gotten so much more invested in it.
Yeah. And speaking of getting involved in companies we've recently we started working with Philly Drinkers, getting our own T-shirts made. He has a sub company that works with MMA fighters, MMA T company. Have you ever think about reaching out to them, having them do your shirts instead of having to worry about all that running around nonsense that a lot of you fighters have to do when you guys get your own shirts made?
So actually, I kind of have an in-house thing because Brian Wright owns 3-Piece Ink Printing. So I get all my things printed basically by my coach. So if stuff's late, I can go and kick him in the leg and stuff like that. So he does that. And he does my banner and stuff like that. So
Jim, you were like, wait, you got alteration to this.
Yeah. So if I don't like something, I can I need to talk to you in one of those moments.
What are you guys
convenient?
But here's the bugaboo on that one. What are you going to do for the banners and all that stuff goes away if you go in the UFC?
I mean, I can still be in still have sponsors. They just they'll sponsor me for just being Shawn T. Not I'm basically endorsing them. I wouldn't be sponsored by them. Yeah. So making that jump. There's still companies that a lot of companies I don't even let them pay me because I just like their products. I just help them push their product, and that's all I care about. I'm not a big guy on you're going to pay me to say I like a product, but I don't like the product. If I don't like your product, I don't care if you're paying me $1 million. I'm not going to say it. I don't like it. So that's how I am. That's how I've always been. Hopefully I'm always like that. But, I've gotten involved with companies that I really like their product and like what they do as a whole. So,
in other words, Shawn says, I'm not a whore. It's because what I like. That's
exactly.
Now, that being said, what happens if Bellator does call? And it's not the UFC.
I mean, I'm fine with it. Just because Chris wants the UFC doesn't mean anything to me. At the end of the day, he's somebody I already beat, somebody I was going to beat again, and it is what it is. I don't care at this point. People keep bringing up, oh, are you mad about this? Well, what if you got a call from Bellator? I'm not saying that's what you're saying.
It was the same thing that happened with Zoo, and everyone was like, why was anyone mad?
Exactly. I don't care.
Another guy from our area makes it to the UFC. That just helps the profile of the fighters in the area.
Yeah. I'm a 31-inch draw. Oh, no, draw weight. I shoot 73 pounds. But so cool. I'm glad with that. If Bellator calls me, cool. I'm fine with that. If UFC calls me, cool. I'm fine with that. I don't. It's not that I don't care.
To one way or another, you just want to have big fights, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's about getting paid. It doesn't matter what company names on your gloves. It's about how much money is going to go in my bank account. No, I'm at that point in my career. Unless I start getting fights that are bigger fights that I'm not. Not that CFFC doesn't pay me well. I'm
saying that
exactly.
It's kind of you not just the money needs to be right, the fight needs to be right, the test needs to be right.
Yes.
And moving forward, let's just say after this fight, you're no longer be fighting for cage, for you're gonna be fighting one of the bigger promotions. Who are some guys that you would look for? Let's say in a Bellator instead of the UFC, or in a professional fight league instead of the UFC.
I mean, I don't really pay attention to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people in that level.
It is rough, bro. I know.
But you're call out somebody or do something like that. I think in either league, I think there's some very, very excellent fights for me, and some people that I watched. I'm like, wow, this guy's in the UFC. This guy really sucks. I will murder this guy. You know, like
I know what you mean.
so. You
I
know,
know what you
but-
mean. There's some guys that are on the roster in that heavyweight division. It's like, why? Well, why is he there? Why does he get opportunity over some of these guys? Like regardless of the fact that, like, you know, I mean, you know what it is. It's because of the politics how it is. He's somebody's teammate, and that's why he's there. You know that's why it is.
Yep. Or he has somebody else that's in the UFC that's like, hey, give my buddy a shot. You know, it is what it is. But you know, over in Bellator, you know, they're doing a lot of great things over there. You know.
I know.
So like, even Corey
it.
just signed with them.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I was just
yesterday.
saying. You're starting to see that trend where you're starting to see a lot of guys be like, hey, I can still make a lot. And you know, I was even mentioning to Jamal where also the other thing about that is where you have some fighters who do multiple different things who are not just like MMA fighters, but they also like to box or kickbox, or maybe they want to do bare knuckle, where Bellator, you're more freely to be able to kind of move around and do that, where the UFC, you're kind of constrained to that one thing, because that's kind of what they kind of how they write it up in the contract.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but it's one of the things why I say like Bellator's kind of as far in the fighter sense is more fighter friendly, but the UFC kind of is kind of the more of a spotlight thing.
Yeah, like I said, I'll entertain anybody that, you know, gives me a phone call and stuff like that, you know, and it just has to be a smart career decision. So, you know, I wouldn't want to sign, you know, all right, you can fight in the UFC, but your first fight out there is versus, you know, Francis Ngannou or something. You know, I mean, I would go out there and just shoot on him for 5 minutes. You know, that's it. No glove touch, just insta shot.
You doing the Ben Askren? You holding onto that leg until you see him on his back, right?
Exactly. That guy hits way too hard. It's scary to watch him even on TV. You're like, holy shit, that guy hits hard.
Yeah, I mean, I still think we want to see him and Derek Lewis go at it again too.
Yeah, if Francis that wasn't scared went out there, because you could tell that was the fight right after Stipe, right? And he was a totally different fighter. I think he's back into like that rhythm of, you know, dude, his last fight versus that other guy that hits pretty hard. He literally just like threw punches like a little kid at him and knocked him out. That was bad.
I mean, and it did. It looked like he was like almost pattering in the next.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh. That guy is terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things where, like, when you get to a point that's eventually, like, if you wind up there, that's kind of, you know, some of these guys that you're going to be wind up going in there. He's not one of these guys on the way out like your Daniel Cormier's, and Stipe probably only has a few more years left in him too. So it's like one of these things where, you know, some of these younger guys and some of these guys that you can be, you know, possibly going up against in the next few years, bro.
I mean, I'm cool with it. Like, that's the thing. I've never turned down fights. Never said I didn't want to fight anybody. You know, if you can get somebody to sign a contract, I'll sign a contract, because I got into the sport wanting to be the best.
Yeah.
So why am I going to pick and choose the fights when I think I'm the best? You know, and obviously it takes a while to become that. You know, I have 2 losses, and they were probably the best thing for my career, because they, you know, made me step back and we're like, all right, what do I have to work on? What do I have to do? And, you know, after my last loss, I had shoulder surgery and stuff like that, a lot of time to reevaluate everything that I had to do. So, you know, losses happen, but, you know, the losses that I have are probably the best things for me, you know, which is weird to say about a loss. Nobody likes losing, but, you know, they helped me become a better fighter as a whole.
Now, another one of those things, like in the sake of improvement, you know, you see a lot of guys eventually they wind up having to pick up training elsewhere to kind of, you know, as you evolve as a fighter, you kind of have to pick up different tools from different people and stuff like that, and bring in different people. And ever get to a point where you know, kind of all the, you know, the COVID stuff goes away. You know, are you going to kind of do more of a thing to kind of work with other guys to kind of help sharpen some more of them tools for you?
I have a lot of aspects here in Jersey that I'm really comfortable with. Like, I have a lot of high-level strikers. Have a lot of high-level boxers I can go with. I can go, you know, I train at Tom DeBlass's now.
I'm a big one, man.
I'm still at Ricardo Almeida's, but I'm
Yeah.
good. Tom Blassis is 10 minutes from my house. So going over there and training with, ADCC champions and stuff like that. And he has a fight, in a few months now. So training with him in a fight camp.
Yeah.
So, him.
He's over one now, too.
Yeah.
Right after he tore his freaking bicep. He's a freaking
he's an animal. But I have like him. I have Corey. I have Jimmy Lawson. I don't know if you're familiar with who that is.
Yeah.
One of a super good Penn State wrestler. So like he's added a whole different game. Like my wrestling's good, but then you're like, man, this motherfucker can wrestle. Like you're like, oh shit.
Penn State wrestlers, it's a whole other story.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, man. You're like, I'm glad I got cardio because I'm getting up. So. We've been working a lot with them. Carl's a super, super high-level striker. So, I have a lot of really good looks here. If I eventually found that I had to go somewhere, because I haven't run into that issue where it's like, oh, you don't have big bodies to work with, because I have big bodies to work with.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think one of the things people don't really realize about the area, there's a lot of good guys to work with too.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, a lot of people are like, I don't have higher level strikers to work with. I have access to that. Through Ricardo's and through Killer B and through all these little networks that I'm involved in, I have access to pretty much everybody that I really would need. And if I make that jump, it wouldn't be an issue.
I mean, it wouldn't even be necessarily that. Like as I was saying, like you have that network and you can use that network. Like maybe you'd be going up to Massachusetts for about a month working with this team, working on that, and then coming back and doing what you're doing that way. Like you know what I mean when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Going somewhere and for a portion of my camp and stuff like that, that if it comes to that time, I'll have to sit down and have a conversation with some people.
I still think it's one of the things like as you kind of move forward and go into those things, and maybe it's not even necessarily for the thing, kind of get you getting into it, like as you get into some of these bigger fights and stuff like that, just to how the bigger camps goes, and that as the stakes get higher. So it's like one of those things that is kind of a natural thing that happens for a lot of fighters, anyways.
Yeah, but also you get what's a good saying for this? Like you can get lost in the sauce at a bigger gym.
I know.
If you're just a guy that's your.
It's one of those things like where you would bring your how remember you used to see the UFC montage training videos, and they're like going up the Big Bear, and they and they spend most of their time in their camp in California or whatever.
Yeah.
But as they're getting closer to the fight, they spend more time up Big Bear for the elevation training, all that type of stuff. It's kind of more along the lines of that.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be opposed of going anywhere, but as we'll take that step if it needs to be had.
Yeah. Come to that crossroads when it happens.
Exactly.
Anything else for you, Greg, before we let wrap Shawn up?
Yeah, I just want to go. Recent change. What's the mental? I know you said you had a couple approaches. Game plans. For your previous opponent. But what's the mental change that you go through with a last minute change of opponent?
If anything, it knocks a little bit of the nerves off, because during such a long fight camp, and basically it was a super long fight camp because we were supposed to fight, and then all the COVID stuff happened, and then they're like, all right, well, when we rebook you, you're versing the same guy. So you kind of put these guys, like any fighter you're fighting. It doesn't matter if I'm fighting Joe Schmo from the bus stop, and I know I'm going to fight him 6 months down the road. You might be thinking, oh shit, you put them on this pedestal, they're so good, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, he's not that good, and then you overthink things. So having these change of opponents super last minute, sometimes it takes a little bit off, puts a little bit more pressure on you, because you're like, this guy doesn't have anything to lose. This is my belt. He's coming in on 6 days notice, 5 days notice, whatever it is, and but it kind of takes a little bit off, because I'm just happy to have a fight. So I'm a little bit relieved at that point. I'm getting married this coming year, so I want to put some money towards my wedding.
Yeah, for sure. No, also congrats on the wedding.
Thank you.
Where's my invitation, bro? But anything else, brother? Greg?
No, I'm good.
All right, so Shawn, you know how we wrap it up, bro. Throw it over to you. And, anything you're working with, needed to let people know about, anyone you want to give some love to, the time is yours, man.
I was just reading your one thing. Somebody just wrote something.
As someone who's never done combat sports and military events, I got anxious before every deployment. Do you ever get anxious before any fights?
Yes, you're very anxious. It's a roller coaster. Because you know about everything beforehand. Like, I've never been in the military or anything like that. Thanks for your service, but I like that's an unknown. But like this is a known. Like somebody is training every day to cave your face in, because you're in their way of progressing their career. And they're in my way of me progressing my career. So we're training literally to kill each other. You sign a contract that says I might die in there. So like you are just on this huge roller coaster, spaghetti string, stuff's all over the place. But it changes when you walk in there and you hear the bolt drop in the door and stuff like that. So,
almost like the gun cock.
Exactly. Shit gets real. Yeah.
But I guess is that you got anything else, Prism? Is that all the bases? Okay.
That was a good question, though.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't understand.
He's always got a million of them for all of our shows. So
yeah, the mentality of a fighter is just different. Like people. I get asked this all the time. People are like, "Oh, it must be awesome being a fighter." Like, no, it's shitty. It's terrible. I wouldn't recommend anybody to be a fighter if you could do other stuff, because waking up every day and training to get better at like avoiding getting punched in the face or throwing up after practice because you worked yourself hard. Like, yeah, there's some days where you're like, shit, a day job would be a lot easier than this. But there's a few people I'd like to shout out for this. I'd like to really thank Brian Wright from Killer Bee Combat Sports, Carl Roberson, Tom Blast. They all worked with me extremely hard this camp. Really hats off to those guys making this, one of my better camps that I've ever had, physically and just mentally being there for me all the time. Sponsor wise, I actually wrote a list. I was actually smart this time. For sponsor wise, I'd like to really thank Aces and Arrows, Ethics Archery. Bruce over there has taken care of me extremely well. Lone Wolf Custom Gears, Altera Camo, as always, Eat Clean Bro, keeping me filled up for all my fights and my camps and stuff like that. You guys are, Jamie over there does awesome things. I'm sure there's people that I forgot to write down. If I did, message me. Sorry, but
basically, if you need hunting gear, hit up Tate. He knows.
Yeah, anything to do with hunting stuff. I've got a lot of people to do it. But and thanks to you guys, having me on. I've been, talk to Steve, over the years, from just starting out, stuff like that. He's always been a really good guy for me to talk to, bringing me on here, putting me on a different platform, letting other people know about me. I really appreciate that.
Hey, brother, how I do, man. Greg's already been sitting there said it to Jamal. Like it's our pleasure to give you guys these platforms. Regardless of us talking before. We're now on A2D here now, and it's only going to get bigger and better and more fun, my friend. I'm sure you're going to give us more things to cheer about this week. More than likely retaining that title. Best of skill as always, big guy. Do your thing. And we'll have you on here again and bust it up some more.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, Shawn, thanks from everyone at A2D. Appreciate
no problem, guys. Thank you for having me on.
All right, everyone. That was the Norwegian Nightmare, Shawn T. He's always a blast to talk to. And, definitely one of these guys that to keep your eyes on, him and Chris.
Yeah, he's close.
He's like, dude, you can't get any more closer than where that kid is right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's working with the right group of guys as always. And Tom the Bass is a guy we're probably going to get on here. I was talking to him, a month or two ago before, everything got pushed back and he tore his bicep and all that. So he's another one of these, guys. He's been in these big fights and before all that, and he's great on the ground. He's gonna be fighting overseas for ONE FC, and the Ricardo Almeida tree is just insane as it already is, and he has
absolutely.
He's got a great tool set as it is. He's only going to get better. As he was sitting there saying, like, people really don't understand that he basically learned on the job. He was when you throw a rookie quarterback in the first season, that's kind of basically happened. He really did. Like, he was basically like less than a year's training in, and was just really had no business being a professional yet. And baptism by fire, however you want to call it, and and here he is now. He's on the doorstep of kind of really pushing through and kind of making a name for himself. He's got a tough test.
And for some guys, that's the way they want it, right? They wanted that trial by fire, right? Some guys thrive on that.
He's also one of those guys where it really doesn't faze him too much. Like he kind of
Jersey guy.
Hey man, we take things. Any people from this kind of tri-state area, Philly, Jersey, Delaware, parts of DC, Baltimore, and all that. Like, it's just we adapt to things really easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's one of those things like where like it doesn't really faze him. So it's one of these things where he has an opportunity now to continue to kind of push that envelope. We'll see where it takes him. Cage Fury is going to be put on. Like I said, if my memory serves me, it's two nights of fights.
It is. Yeah, it's 2 nights. And he's on. I think he's. They
always have some of the
first night.
They have some of the best, of the talent from the area, and they also fly guys, in and around, the country, city, whatever. They do whatever they got to do to get some of these fights here. So, hats off to Rob Haydock and the guys for putting on the fights for the local fighters, getting everything back moving and going again. And like they were telling you, make sure you're locked in on Fight Pass to support your local fighters. Because a lot of these guys are not getting anything off of ticket sales or shirt sales because you're not really getting people to go into an arena to be able to support them. So it's kind of a different feel. So anyone who supports the local scene, do what you got to do in that way. Real quick before I wrap it up, just want to kind of give a little announcement. Like, I've been working on some of these giveaways. Did one last year for us hitting that 3K finally for YouTube. Did some shirt giveaways on Facebook this week. Did some things for myself, was working on, and kind of fell upon something. So next week we're going to be working on a giveaway. We're going to be giving out a round of golf for two to one of Ron Jaworski's golf courses. Reached out to them and was getting some for myself. Got to talking. So make sure you're tuned in and keep an eye out for what we're going to do for that. Probably between either if Greg's on with us, whoever's going to be on, we'll kind of pick a comment for one of our listeners, supporters, etc. And going to give back to you guys some more. So make sure you guys are locked in next week.
No doubt, absolutely, that's awesome.
Yes, sir. Well, hopefully we get you guys get lucky enough. Maybe Jaws will be there. You never know. Who knows?
He's usually at one of them.
Yeah, I know, right? But other than that, I think that one wraps up today. I think that's.
Let's go Fly Guys.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go Flyers. We got a lot of stuff going on with that. I'm sure there he goes. He's switching it off. He's ready to go.
No, we're good. Let's go Fly Guys. Spencer Howard up tomorrow for the Phillies.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. I was literally just about to say, let's not forget the Phillies. I know we kind of glazed over baseball today, but we'll see. That bullpen needs to show me something before I give him some
for
love.
Sure. But I'm stoked with Spencer Howard though. Let's go.
Yeah, he definitely deserves this chance. So
it was funny. Joe Girardi said, and we can wrap up right after this. He was like, "I can't make an official announcement, but a very young right-hander, might be making a start tomorrow. No official announcement, but his initials are SH." Like, that was well done. Well done.
Oh, I forgot. I wanted to ask you about this one, brother. What do you think about Booney crying about the fucking fans outside of the pool?
I just find it phenomenal and amazing that in a time of no fans, the Philly fans are getting on people, right? Like, that's amazing, and it's so Philly, and I love every second of it. Like, in a time of no fans, what do they call the Fandemic crew is what they're being called apparently. They found a way to get under the nerve of an opposing team in a time where there's no fans. It's classic. But again, like, what do you want the umpires to do? What do you want the Phillies to do? They're outside the stadium. There's nothing they can do about it. It's funny. It's amazing.
More crybabies.
Yeah, exactly. Crying for the Yankees. Cry your tears away.
Goddamn New Yorkers. Anyways, all right. That should about wrap it up for this week. Big thanks to Greg for hopping on for me. My first kicking this one back off, and I kind of reformat, I guess. Big thanks to both our guests. Jamal, Shawn. Best of luck in your fights. I got to stop that. Best of skill. There ain't no luck involved in MMA. You guys do what you guys do. And, other than that, we'll see you guys next week. And, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back and love you guys. We'll see you.